4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I've always loved working at the intersection of technical, people, culture, economics, trying to find that interesting work that's in the middle, which I find we get a lot of here. When I came here with this project, actually in particular, I was a bit cynical.
To implement these, we've trained young Kenyans, we call green champions.
Kenya and East Africa is on the forefront of experiencing climate change and the worst effects of it. I came from a chemical engineering background, working in industry, thinking like moving away from industrial farming or moving towards regenerative agriculture wouldn't work.
Or strengthening.
But from what I've seen in the field, what I've seen from farmers is I've come to understand these issues are a lot more nuanced, complicated, and regenerative agriculture practices are really well suited to smallholder farmers. They're really well adapted to the effects of climate change. And there's actually avenues with which you can escape poverty more easily by adopting some of these practices.
I think when you interact with different cultures, or you really get to know about different traditions or different countries, I think it really builds empathy and humility. Kisumu is the biggest city in Western Kenya, and so a lot of the time it's almost like a hub for this region. What's really cool about my position is that I get to work with government-funded public hospitals in more rural areas like in Busia, Bungoma, Kisii, to build their capacity as hospitals and also increase health access in those communities.
Really? We're from the Aga Khan Foundation campus.
One of the best things about this fellowship has been the knowledge sharing aspect. Talking to the different medical supervisors, the hospital staff, and the clinical staff.
This entire building houses clinics for the mothers.
Even just the way that public health operates in Kenya is so different from Canada. Understanding both systems has opened my mind into what could be in both countries. The lessons that I learned from that is something that I will carry with me for the rest of my life.
I think it's really important to connect to community because you're not only coming to support or help, but you're coming to bear witness.
For a long time, I think development has operated in a way where it was about what Western ideas could come in and have an impact on communities. I think because a lot of the time, the work that we can do within the development space can feel quite abstract. To be able to take an approach that's more community focused feels more meaningful because I'm able to uplift the voices of those around me. People who have a way better appreciation about what can be done to address the issues that are happening in their community.
Being Canadian, there's a unique perspective in that, a lot of people are immigrants themselves or the second and third generation. I'm from the region and I'm trying to reconnect back with my culture. So I think Canadians are uniquely placed to be able to really navigate the space of development in a way that is more sustainable over time.
Our work in partnerships means that we get to interact with a lot of different organizations and think about how we can fit together to do really exciting projects. We're in a position through the Aga Khan Foundation's fellowship program to be able to give back in a really meaningful way and to have people around us trusting in us, whether it's the AKFC staff, the country staff that we're working with. That's really how we're able to come and take on these challenges.
Just being part of the fabric of community, I think, really makes the fellowship experience quite rich and quite vibrant and quite rewarding. And I think that understanding has been a very critical shift in the way that I will be practicing development for years to come.
The really cool thing about the fellowship is that it showed me that there are opportunities and career paths other than the norm. I was interested in an aspect of business that tied into the greater good. And for me, that turned out to be sustainability. I work for an organization that tends to tackle economic development through a systemic approach rather than a direct one. Whether it be through energy initiatives such as solar plants, whether it be through water conservation, they work hand in hand with the community to develop organically. And that's where you see the impact Sereno tells us trying to make. To be part of an organization like that feels great because the work you're doing is going to spill over in a positive way to local communities. What I'm slowly realizing is that there's such a depth of knowledge, the different perspectives, different belief systems. Because while you're learning about yourself, you're also learning about your organization and what type of impact they're making.
This is really what life is about, experiencing something new every day, challenging yourself with the work.
I think it's a great way to just try out the things that you think you know about yourself. It's never going to be a what if for me anymore.
This experience has really solidified that my heart is both in Africa and in Canada, and I don't really have to make a distinction between the two because both are really who I am at the core.
I just feel more excited than I ever have in my career to be able to take those next steps and think about what my next role will be.
These experiences are so unique and so special, and what this organization does and what this program does is so unique and so special.
So when you find something that makes you passionate, go all in.